This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
On this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, Nick's helmet keeps falling off.
Damn, Sabine.
Intro music.
My country feels no good to me dead. Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
You caught me off guard with that one. I wasn't ready.
You weren't ready.
I don't have my normal repartee on lock for you today. Bantha Milk Podcast. We are the podcast that talks exclusively about Bantha Milk, the different varieties you can purchase
and
at the
Bantha
store.
milk cheese.
Bantha cheese,
Bantha cheese.
Bantha brie, Bantha Gruyere, Bantha bologna, all things.
Bantha bologna, anything that you can get from Bantha.
Yeah, so
Bantha steaks,
leather,
Bantha leather,
yeah,
Bantha ribs,
Bantha. They call them Tatooine mountain oysters. It's everything Bantha. You can find them right here. And so, diverting away from literal Bantha talk, we're here at the end of another live action show.
We are.
Well, the season anyway.
The season ended.
Season 1, episode 8.
Episode 8,
The
all
Lion,
over.
The Witch in the Wardrobe. Oh no, wait, it's the other one. The Caspian. What's the Caspian one? I don't know. I only ever watched the first one, the one with the lion Jesus.
I don't know.
Aslan.
Yeah, whatever.
Aslan. Rob, did you lose something?
I'm looking.
Rob's upset.
I'm looking. I've been sitting here for 20 minutes, and I just remembered to look for the book that reminded me of this episode. It was the book that I read this summer. It was this one, Death Troopers.
Yeah. Well, we did see some Death Troopers.
We did see some Death Troopers, so we can talk about this book as well as how it came into this episode.
I love it. I love that. You've got some Dr. Pepper over there.
I have some Dr. Pepper.
All 23 flavors are calling your name, I can tell.
Yep, 23 authentic blend of 23 flavors. I never knew that it was supposed to be 23 flavors.
Yeah,
but
man. That's why the number 23 is on there.
Yeah, well, all I know is it's delicious. You're back.
Yeah, finally.
The
have
whiskey
a bottle of
is
bourbon.
back.
Yeah. So I am going to yank that. Wow, that whole thing came off. So there you go.
So no yanking, made it nice and easy.
That's right. So yeah, while I pour this, hold on, let's give it a nice.
While you pour that, I have one funny news article. So
hit me with funny news. Most of my news has been annoying recently.
I understand. So, on the latest episode, by the way, we're on the Ears Up Network.
Yeah.
You can check us out on any of our social medias, especially go to banthamilkpodcast.com and buy some swag. I've been making all new shirts, man.
Rob has, there's probably about 80 varieties of Bantha Milk shirt at this point. I see more Bantha Milk podcast gear out in the wild than I own. I really need to get on buying some of these
now
things.
That you got paid, you can
That's
get...
it. I can get
and
one shirt.
When you sign up, if you go to TeePublic for the first time, I think they even give you a discount. You could probably get it for like $16.
Wow.
So,
you have to type in hashtag code Bantha Milk?
No, I think just like when you first sign in, you got to check like a pop-up will show up and say, oh, discount, blah, 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 whatever.
So it's not like an insider deal. It's just something you get.
Just something you get. But I'm sure if you typed in anywhere like TeePublic coupon codes, I'm sure you could find a coupon code, not necessarily Bantha Milk 10, but
I feel like if we had our own, it would make me feel more like we made it, you know.
Okay, well, I will have tomorrow. I will look into trying to get our own TeePublic discount.
I know you will
for everybody.
too.
Yes, and I will as well. But yeah, I've been making a whole bunch of fun T-shirts, and this is one of them.
That's a nice one. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
like the old and the new.
Yeah, black and white on the
retro.
side.
We've been around so long. We have a retro logo.
We sure do.
And all 7 of you out there can
Right.
attest.
That's right. You've all 7 of you that have listened from the beginning. You know how retro we are.
That's right. There's 1,000 listeners live right now, by the way. Can we just calm down the chat
Calm
right
down. Some are down
now? I think
now.
like it's the beginning of the podcast. We don't need any of this sort of negative vibe in
That's
that
right.
chat,
We're a positive podcast,
yeah.
not a negative one.
Yeah.
But so I was listening to. So check out. Go to Bantha Milk Podcast. Go to our Instagram, Bantha Milk. Is it Bantha Milk Podcast?
It is Bantha Milk
Just
Podcast.
Bantha Milk Podcast.
Yeah,
Instagram.
that's the one.
Go to Facebook, Bantha Milk Podcast.
Yeah.
We also have the group Sacred Jedi Text.
That's the one.
Where you can find all kinds of fun Star Wars memes that get thrown out there all the time. It's a lot of fun.
Sure.
And also whatever, Twitter, blah, who cares?
Twixter.
And TikTok. We have a Bantha Milk TikTok, but it hasn't. Nothing new has been uploaded in forever.
There's a new salted caramel variety of the Twix bar.
Oh, really?
It's very good.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cookie Crunch.
Okay.
Salted caramel.
I'm not a Twix fan.
Okay.
I'm a Kit Kat fan. I like Kit
Sure.
Kats.
Love me a Kit Kat.
And Three Musketeers are my favorite. I just love the nougat.
Just that plain old nougat.
Yeah, it's just
when I
delicious.
was a kid, I was a plain old Jane, and I did not like crunchy and weird textures.
Okay.
So I didn't like anything with caramel, and I didn't like anything with peanuts. So like all I ate were Crunch bars and Kit Kat bars and Reese's cups.
There you go. And Reese's cups are good. And I don't like peanut butter.
But
I
you like
won't have the
Reese's
peanut
cups.
butter and jelly sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
I love peanuts. Like go to the ball game and crack
you have
peanuts and
peanuts,
whatever.
sure.
That's not a problem. Peanut butter, no dice.
Sure.
But Reese's peanut butter cups all day.
Yeah. Well,
All day.
I'll tell you, I love both, but I would not want the peanut butter from Reese's peanut butter cups on a piece of bread. You know what I mean? It's not the same thing.
And I think that's why I like it so much because it doesn't. I don't like the texture.
Yeah.
I don't like mashed potatoes either because I don't like the texture.
See, I like both of them very much.
See, I like I like the feeling of chewing my own food, not just putting in food that's already been chewed for me.
Mama bird me that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Directly. I want it to go from pot to gullet.
There you go.
Nice and easy. Like
Just
a
nice
water
and easy. You
slide.
don't even need teeth.
No.
Who needs teeth?
I mean, not my daughter apparently needs more. She keeps growing them.
She does.
That's why I'm so tired.
And walking. I saw a video.
Yeah,
she is walking.
Well, she turns 1 year old tomorrow. Crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy stuff. 1 year ago to
Baby Yoda's going to be at the party. There's going to be llama Eop rides there. Yeah, Eop rides there.
We were gonna do like a Star Wars Sesame Street themed little gathering with my family, because we're just having like my parents and stuff over, and she has been so into Moana that we had to shift to Moana.
Okay.
So it's like the first birthday party really isn't about her anyway.
No.
But
just give her the cake and let her just shove her hand in. I remember either Trey or Cameron. I think it might have been Trey. He didn't know what to do with it because we never gave the kids cake before. So he's like, what do I do? Yeah. So then Sherry, I remember her like taking his hand and just like smashing it in the cake, and then him being like, "Oh, I like this," and then finishing it up, which was delicious.
Evangeline goes hands first into all food.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't use silverware yet, but she feeds herself.
Yes.
So she's
he fed himself, but just he never had cake, so he didn't know what to do with that.
Until you showed him the way.
Until we showed him the way, and they said, "This is the way," and he said, "This is
You're
the
right.
way."
This is the way.
You are right.
100% correct. And you've been chasing that feeling ever since.
That is
or at
correct.
least I have.
And then, so back to the important things, not to kids. The people didn't listen to us talk about our kids.
You're right.
But
you can catch that on our parenting podcast.
That's
Bantha Milk and You.
And You.
On HGTV.
How to parent your child. That's right. But I have a Google alert set up for Disney stuff and for Star Wars stuff. And Jason from Ears Up. By the way, check out all the other Ears Up shows. Ears Up in Depth, Punipod, Scraping the Vault, and Taco Supreme Resort. Check all them out also. But he was complaining that everything in his feed was coming from Inside the Magic or Disney Dining, which are the same site. They're owned by the same people. One person will write one article, put on Inside the Magic, and then write another article saying, sources tell us this, and their sources is the person sitting next to them.
Sure.
So it's a whole bunch of fluff and clickbait stuff. That's all it is. But the same thing for Star Wars. I'm typing in, getting Star Wars things, and the first 4 were Inside the Magic or Disney Dining, and they're all just garbage and
sources.
and just like fake news. Like, oh, this person caused the downfall of Star Wars, and it's like maybe by the time you read it at the very end, they go, we might not be correct on this.
Yeah, that's part of the problem that I have with the algorithm, as they call it. Like, I like having news that might like big news. I like when I flip over to the side and have that panel.
Right.
But like for the most part, it knows. Oh, you like Star Wars? Let's find a billion Star Wars things. I might have mentioned this. This is pretty big stuff. It's just something I find delightful. You can type Star Wars all with your left hand.
You said that one time, yes.
Yeah, it's one of my most favorite Star Wars facts.
That is the best Star Wars fact there is.
I mean, there might be a deeper lore-wise Star Wars fact, but I don't think so.
No, I think that is the number one Star Wars fact that you can look up on the internet is that you can type Star Wars with one hand.
Yeah. I mean, technically you can type anything with one hand, but when your hands
the proper way, yes. Very
lefty,
nice.
Old lefty.
All the kids that I teach all type everything with just one finger.
Yeah,
so,
well, I'd say like 60% of the populace does that.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
How many words a minute do you type?
Not many.
No?
No. I mean, not many.
In my prime, I was at 103.
No, I was never. No.
Yeah.
That's
when I was
very
like
impressive.
dissertating
Okay.
at LSU, I would like stop midway through and like go to a word counter and like check.
And see.
I'd be like, I'm on fire, man.
Yeah. There was one girl I remember doing the typing lessons. She was typing faster than I could even read the words.
Wow.
Like, I was like, okay. And that was over 100, but it was like the typing lessons, so the letters were showing up. I was like, I can't even read as fast as you're typing right now. I was very impressed.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. So, fishing through everything Inside the Magic and Disney Dining, I did get one funny news article, which this was also pretty funny. Northfield Park Race 1 horse betting results. Number 5, Baby Yoda.
Oh, there's a horse named Baby Yoda.
Yeah, so there's a horse racing at Northfield Park.
Which is where?
Which is...
Presumably North America?
It is North America.
Presumably the United States?
Yes, it is in the United
Perhaps
States.
Wyoming?
I'm looking, all I see right now
Maybe
is
Vermont?
Maybe Vermont.
North Dakota?
Let's see, Northfield
Virginia?
Park. Now you're going to make me
Wisconsin?
copy and paste.
Rhode Island?
No, I think it's like in the Midwest.
Pennsylvania? Illinois?
Northfield Park.
Nebraska?
Oh, here we go. Is a Racino in Northfield, Ohio.
I said Ohio.
You said Ohio.
No, I did not.
You got through about 20 states.
It might be the only like flyover state I missed.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So Northfield, Ohio. So in the race 1, I don't know what day it was. It doesn't even matter. Sometime last week, Monday, October 2nd. Ursus me with names. Callians came in first. Fly Jesse Fly came in second. Another Breath came in third. Mr. Houdini came in fourth, and Baby Yoda came in fifth.
How come horses always have like sentences for names?
I know. Number 6, Muscles for Life.
Muscles for Life?
That's
It's a terrible name.
This is my horse, Muscles for Life.
What about if he has like a debilitating disease in his older age?
Yeah.
Where he like loses muscle mass, and then it's tragic and ironic.
And ironic
sad.
all at the same time, yes. All right, so that was the one thing that I found very funny was that there's now a horse named Baby Yoda.
And he just edged out Muscles for Life.
And he did. He beat out Muscles
Good
for Life.
Good for you, Baby Yoda.
So Muscles for Life needs to go back to the gym and start working on his muscles some more.
Yeah. Is it safe to assume that when they're training them, they don't call them by their full name? Like Baby Yoda isn't called Baby Yoda, it might be called Baby.
Baby.
And Muscles for Life is
Let's
called
go, Baby.
Muscles.
Or maybe they call him Yoda. I would call him Yoda more than Baby.
Or come on, Baby, right?
Come on, Baby. Yeah, I guess.
Come on, you did that
and
very
then
Elvis
Muscles.
Presley, like, come on, baby.
Come on, baby.
Come on, baby.
Come on, baby. And
Muscles
then what would you
for
call
Life.
another breath? Come on, breath.
Anne.
Anne. Let's go, Anne.
Come on, Annie.
Mr. Houdini. I love it. So
I'm
anyway.
a person. My name is Anakin.
Yes.
Anyway.
I'm a person. I don't like sand. Oh, did you see? What was that? It was some meme. Darth Vader holding up a sign and said something like, "We'll go anywhere." Like it was like standing on the side of the road, like hitchhiking. Said something like, "Go anywhere except for where there's sand" or something like that. I don't know, whatever. So let's give the rundown.
This rundown.
Give me that rundown,
Got a
of
rundown?
episode 8. As you said, it
rundown.
is called The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The Wardrobe?
Yeah.
The Jedi, the
Jedi.
Witch, and the Warlord.
And the Warlord, yeah.
We will we'll talk to you all about that right after this commercial break.
This episode is brought to you by AWS. Amazon Q Business is the new generative AI assistant from AWS. Many tasks can make business slow, like wading through mud. Help! Luckily, there's a faster, easier, less messy choice. Amazon Q can securely understand your business data to help you streamline tasks, like summarizing quarterly results or doing complex analyses in no time. Q got this. Learn what Amazon Q Business can do for you at aws.com/learn more.
I feel like Saturday morning cartoons, they had something before going to a commercial. They did something silly like that also.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was like Nickelodeon. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Something where it was like, so that way the kids would know that they're about to.
You can get up and like take a whiz. And
Yeah,
go
well,
get
that
some
they
Cheerios now.
know that it's a commercial and that it's not part of the show, and that they're now going to try to sell them something so they don't feel like they're tricking children. Like, oh, by the way, we're going to go to commercial right after
but
this.
I want to trick children.
Right, I want to
into
trick
buying
them.
our
So don't tell
merchandise.
them that it was a commercial.
No, whatever that was, buy it. Buy 11 of them. Buy 1,000 of them, and call them and say, "I bought this for Bantha
Yeah,
Milk."
and if it's betting, if it's joining a betting site, every child, I hope that you
You don't do that.
don't do that.
Yeah, do that.
All right, so I watched it last night,
I watched it this afternoon.
and then I watched it again. I watched half of it again during school because there was some parts that I wanted to get some really cool screenshots of.
Sure.
But I didn't watch the whole thing, and of course I didn't write down any notes. So I'm going off of another article here. So, Ket, since you watched it this afternoon, if I miss anything, please stop me
I won't nail you on it.
and nail me on it. Yeah. So, do we start with Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Great Mothers and Morgan Elsbeth? Is this the beginning of it?
I believe so.
Or was there? Okay. So she is now. So she is being indoctored into the Night Sisters.
Yeah, she's becoming one of them. They're gonna suck the soul out of her eyes and give her a sword, and everything's gonna be great.
They give her a glowing sword, and she
And
becomes one.
It was called Talzin's blade
Yes.
or something like that, and that Great Mother Talzin was the head of the Night Sisters in the Clone Wars. So I guess like there's a difference between being Dathomiri and being a Night Sister, and like this lady was just Dathomiri until she was just fully inducted. And what do they call it? The Shadow or the
Clan Mother of the Night Sisters in Dathomir doesn't say here. I forget what they were calling it.
something like we're gonna give you the Shadow or something. I don't know. And
Yeah.
then they put their hands on their face and burned her eyes out.
Burned her eyes out.
Gave her a big green fire sword.
And now we see why the other Night Sisters have the burned out eyes and stuff. It's all part of the ritual of becoming a Night Sister.
Right.
So I was going to ask you, and you already answered it, so I don't really need to ask you, but I was thinking that all of the caskets at the end of the episode were all other witches from this planet, from, starts with a P, whatever this planet is that they're on. Peridia. That they were now bringing to start the Night Sister clan
To restart it on Dathomir.
on Dathomir. But it was already started, but maybe they are, as you said, by throwing that in there, restarting it. Do you think it was that, or do you think they were soldiers that he's trying to bring back to life?
I don't know, because I think it's pretty clear they're setting up some conflict between Thrawn and the Night Sisters. Like, they're not like happily working together. They're using each other because they need each other.
They
for
need each
whatever
other.
The next goal is. But we
Yeah.
even see at the end when Thrawn says to bomb the castle or whatever, the Night Sister gives like a look like, "This is what this dude just said."
Yeah, what is he doing to our castle?
I don't know. I think I could see there being some conflict there, and that might add to it. But yeah, I don't know, because Morgan was left back.
She was.
And killed.
Which, I mean, we talked earlier that Thrawn was loved so much in the books because he figured out ways to complete the task without putting too many people of his in danger.
Right.
And I feel in this episode he did the exact opposite of that.
Sure. To the point where he had them killed several times.
Several times.
Yeah.
And not like he sacrificed the two, not X-Wings, the two TIE fighters.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, yeah, they're dead. And then he said something like, yeah, make sure his people know, whatever. Like,
right, give him a commendation.
Give him commendations. But he wasn't mad about it the way he would have been in the books or even in when we saw him in the cartoons.
Right.
And then he told Morgan, you're going to have to stay back and fight these people while we get away. This is for the Empire. And that's when she said for Dathomir.
Right.
So I feel like he is sacrificing a lot more people this time than what we've seen before.
He's been stuck on a planet in a different galaxy for 10 years. He's probably a little grumpy.
He's a little grumpy. He wants to get out of there, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get himself out of there. I can give him that. Okay. So we see in the very beginning, yes, the Night Sisters. This is how you become a Night Sister by... and you said last week that you wanted to see more green witch power.
I did.
And we saw a lot of green witch power this week.
We sure did.
We sure did.
Starting with them ripping that sword out of the universe.
Yeah, so they form a sword out of from wherever it was before, which was pretty cool. And then they give it to her and say, you get the new sword of the clan mother. Is it not working again?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
You work on it. So the clan mother of the Night Sisters on Dathomir, and we saw her in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, has been known to withstand lightsabers duel. More on that later. And while there was a lot of speculation after last week's episode about whether Ezra couldn't use a lightsaber anymore.
Yeah, that seemed like an abandoned plot to me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, he doesn't need a lightsaber to fight. Just kidding. Next episode, we're going to make one in 12 seconds.
Yeah. So what happened to his lightsaber? Did he lose it in the cartoon? He gave it to
Sabine.
Oh, that's right. He did.
Yeah.
And then in this episode, or in last week's episode, she's like, here, this is yours.
He said, nah, you keep it.
You keep it.
The Force is my ally.
Right. And now this week he's like, oh, cool, you have lightsaber parts. Let's build one.
Yeah. Yep. Essentially, I don't need a lightsaber, but we'll look a lot cooler in the wide angle shot. If we had white, green, and blue.
Blue, yeah, we need a little bit more color in here. So I'll build one. So then we see that he's talking to your boy Huyang. And this is a fun scene. I feel Huyang is definitely the narrator for all the people who didn't see the cartoon.
Yep.
And we said that before, and they're really digging deep into that. Like, oh, Kanan Jarrus, he was his trainer. That was like 4 episodes ago. Now it's like, it was very Harry Potter-ish.
Yeah.
When Harry was picking the wand. Oh, yeah. It's interesting that you picked that wand because it's the same feather that's in Voldemort's wand.
And it came from Fox.
Yes, yeah. So those two are the same. So it's the same. It's the other part of Kanan's lightsaber, which
right.
He apparently just keeps all the lightsaber parts now on the ship.
Why not?
Why not? So that was fun. Then I'm gonna have to cut out all this like silence here. But anyway, we say So it tells him that part was from Kanan Jarrus. We talked about that. Okay, and then also reason Ahsoka chose to stop training Sabine.
Yeah, and this seemed a little ham-fisted too. It's like it seemed like it could have been this emotional moment.
Yeah,
and like it could have like been talked about by the actual participants instead of like the robot just going, "Hey, so this is what happened."
Yeah, like a third-party story. Yeah. It's me telling a story about you and your daughter. It's not going to have the same effect as you saying, "Oh my God, she stood up."
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, she stood
up.
That's what they do. Yeah, so both mine did it. They're standing now.
Yeah, they've been standing ever since. I gotta tell you, it's not that impressive.
But to you,
just sit the hell down.
Yeah, just now he's not going to be able to watch her because she's going to be running all over the house now. So good to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so they talk about. He explains to them about with her ultimate power that Ahsoka now was afraid that she was going to become
get retribution on the
right,
Empire.
just like
Vader,
like that guy Vader. He turned out to be
maybe
a nice
Vader
guy.
someday later, but now he's just a small fry.
Yes,
he left his home and kissed his mommy goodbye, saying, "Soon I'm going to be a Jedi."
Weird Al, have you walked in here?
Weird Albert Yankovic.
We're gonna have him on the show.
Yeah.
The relationship between a master and an apprentice is as challenging as it is meaningful, is what Hu Yang tells Ezra, which was, whatever, that's parenting for you.
Yeah.
And then, so he finally builds a lightsaber. Then they're getting attacked, right? Is that what happens right away, or are they?
Yeah. Essentially, he finishes the lightsaber. He goes outside to look cool for a second, and then he looks past Ahsoka and them and is like, "Oh, guys, there are TIE fighters.
So
let's stand here and look at them while they fly by.
While they
us
come
and
towards
miss
us." So was this when Ahsoka was sitting on top of the ship?
Yep.
Just like meditating, chilling on top of the ship.
Yep.
Like, oh, look at this. I'm on a different planet in a different galaxy. This is cool, whatever.
Yep.
And then
get some sun. Vitamin K.
Sabine was watching Ezra build the lightsaber.
Right.
And then he says something like, "Right, Sabine," and he turns around and she's gone. So then he goes out to find her, and then they're all hanging out. I found this scene funny, and like this is the first time we've ever seen this whole series, because I think they've done it before. But you see them like hanging out on the outside of the ship while it's floating around. They're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go up on the top deck.
It's a desert. This will be nice.
I'm on the Lido deck now, hanging out up there." And the two TIE fighters come, and they're like, "Oh no, we're gonna get killed."
Yeah, they went out like a little couple punks. Like, but they just like basically slingshotted themselves at them and like skewered them.
Yeah. So it was pretty funny because when Ahsoka says to Ezra, jump down. Like they get hit right away. The two TIE fighters come by, shoot out their rear engines. Then the thing's starting to fall. So she's like, Ezra, jump down. Ezra's hand motions. He didn't look like he was struggling at all, which he should have been fighting it a little bit more. Like, I don't know. It just looked really funny to me. It made me laugh for a second. I was like, okay, what is that going on there? But that's what happens when you're doing stuff in a green screen. It's kind of hard to tell or whatever. So they're trying to hold it up, and then Sabine's on the inside with Hu Yang, and she goes over to one panel behind the seat, and he goes, "Oh, that's just going to give you a little bit of power."
It's enough.
That's all I need.
Right.
And so she goes and does the little slingshot, which was fun because like you said, he slingshotted off and just tore both of them right up. Didn't need to shoot anything.
Nope.
Just use the wings, tear it apart. Those two guys are done, and then the ship crashes.
Well, yeah.
And there goes any chance we have of getting off of this planet because our ship is now crashed.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised when they didn't wind up in the back of the Star Destroyer. I figured they were going to get picked up and they were going to make it.
I thought the ship at the very end when he gets caught in its what was it in Top Gun? He flew through its jet wash when it got caught in its jet wash. I thought for sure it was going to go into it
and like follow it
and whatever. So but yeah, so the ship is broken, and then back to the dog, horses, cattle, mule, whatever those gerbil
guinea
animals, guinea pigs, yes. So now 3 of them are riding on the 2 animals.
Yeah, it's Sabine and Ezra, and then Ahsoka gets her own.
She does, because she's the mom. She gets her own.
Yeah.
The 2 kids have to share.
And then they're like, all right, well, let's storm the castle.
Well, how are we going to get there? We'll go in the front door.
Yeah.
So
it's like it reminds me of that. There's the clip of when Trump killed the whatever head of Al Qaeda or whatever, and they like juxtapose that with like when Obama killed. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Obama or Trump just starts saying crazy stuff. One of them was like, And they didn't go through the door. Most people, you go knock knock. Who's there? You go in through the door. They didn't go through the door.
They didn't go through the door.
Just
They didn't go through the door.
Ahsoka wanted to go through the door.
She wanted to go through. We'll go through the door. It'll be easier.
Yeah.
So it took all three of them using their force to open the door.
While
riding on the
back.
gerbil back, which was fun because all three of them holding out their hands. Nobody was actually holding on to the animals, but they were able to go right through the door, very Indiana Jones style.
Yep.
Ezra and Sabine.
That last one that went through, I was.
I wanted to see. It would have been really funny if the animal's tail got stuck and the two of them came flying off, and the animal's like, "Ah!" That would have been really funny.
I would have really liked it if there was one more of those animals, and then just a random background character on it. And we've been like that guy,
and that dude
dead.
crashes right into the door. Yeah,
he just like slams closed.
Yeah, and you just see him just like if there's troopers following them, the troopers following them would have definitely slammed right into the door. Yeah, 100%. That would have been really funny. That would have been good. So they get inside, and then they
Call
get
me
inside.
Dave.
Call me Dave.
I'll write for you.
Yeah, Dave, we can write for you.
Yeah.
They get inside, and they're like, okay, now where? Let's go up, I guess. And so they start, and then do they find, or we go back. Thrawn is now this is when he tells Morgan that she needs to sacrifice herself. He's like, we need to get out of here.
Yeah, but you don't.
But you don't.
Yeah.
So you stay.
You take that nice green flamey sword you just pulled out of thin air, and I'll take myself and this everything and go back. But you have fun here.
You have fun here. You just got here.
And long live the Empire and stuff.
Yeah, I've been stuck here for 10 years. You just got here. You're it. You're in on this planet. So then she's like, all right, I'll fight for you.
Not for
for
jerk.
Dathomir, you jerk face,
That's
you
right.
blue-skinned, red-eyed freak.
Oh, that's mean.
That's what she said.
She's rude.
So there was an article about nitpicking the show.
Okay.
Surprise, surprise. Star Wars fans do that. The person was saying
we
how
base our entire podcast off of that.
I know. Was saying how they loved the show. It was just too much to make it look like the cartoons. And the thing that he was complaining the most about was the fact that everybody had colored contacts in to match.
I saw that.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw that. It is a little distracting at times. I like what they did with Ezra's eyes. I think his look the best. Hera's are a little distracting, I think. Thrawn's are even a little distracting.
Thrawn's are distracting because I feel in the cartoon they were red, but they were like a little muted red. They weren't as bright red as they are in this.
And they weren't like eyeballs with irises. They were just red.
They were just red.
Just red pools.
Yeah.
And so I don't love that they just went the whole let's make their eyes look red thing. The whole disturbing part of it was that deep red that didn't have anything behind it.
Yeah. And then the other thing that he said that made a little bit more sense was the fact that every time we've seen Hera, she's been wearing the same clothes the whole time.
That's true.
And now that it's live action, you don't need to just draw one outfit. You can have them wear different things. And Han wore different things. Luke wore different things. We know Lando had a whole room full of capes, which I swear I want to bring capes back. Lando,
I think you could.
Lando, Elvis, and then me wearing capes. I think I could do it. But anyway.
Might have been one or two people between them as well.
Maybe Liberace was in there. He wore some capes.
Yeah. Superman.
Superman, yeah. But, if there's anything that I learned from The Incredibles, that capes are the downfall to all of the superheroes.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
No capes.
No capes. No capes for superheroes. So anyway, so they get inside. They start fighting. And what typical, Ahsoka says, I'll fight Morgan. You guys go on without me.
Right.
And Sabine was like, I learned my lesson.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
We should stay together.
She's like, get.
Ahsoka said, I'm the mom. I said go. You two go. So then yes, mommy, whatever you say. So then she stays and fights. I thought it was a good battle. It was a fun fight. I
liked their first fight in The Mandalorian, and this was wildly different from that.
Yeah.
The one in The Mandalorian was much more slow paced and methodical.
And it was like very straight lines because they were on either side of them was the pond.
Yeah, and she was also using that staff too.
Yeah.
But this time, I don't know, it was more quick and ferocious, and one of her lightsabers got broken. And it was pretty rad.
It was cool, and I liked with the sword. She fought she is the Morgan is a stunt person and a martial artist. Like that's what her thing was. Like her dad was one of the big stunt people back in his day.
Okay.
So that's where she got her start, was doing a lot of stunts and stuff. But she was using her left hand on the backside of the sword, which is a very martial arts way of fighting with a sword as well. So it was very cool. The choreography in it was amazing. It was really good.
There was one moment where both I'm stuck. Where it was one moment where both Pagan and I went, well, that was very nice choreography. It was like clear that they moved. Like it was when they both flipped to the left side at like the exact same pace. It was like, that's not fighting. That's a dance move.
That's a dance move.
That's fine. It looked cool.
It looked cool, yeah.
But that was a dance move.
So then they're fighting, and then the other two are running upstairs trying to get to the Star Destroyer.
Yep. They have a Matrix moment.
They have a Matrix.
Where they have to make the jump. No one makes the first jump.
No one. What was?
Oh, this is But
that's a little bit later. That's after
we then run into the zombies.
We run into So as they're going up the steps, then suddenly they're surrounded by stormtroopers.
Right.
And they start fighting them all off, and they
make
easily
quick work of them.
Make quick work of probably 40 stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And then Ahsoka shows back up again. She starts helping out a little bit. Then
they decide to wait around while they all just are on the ground for a while.
Yeah, they're just standing there like, we did it. Now where do we go?
Now let's just watch them all reanimate.
Yes.
As opposed to, hey, we did it. Oh, one of them's twitching. Let's go.
Wait, we'll stay here. But there was a funny line in that because they get to the steps and they're standing there and they start to reanimate because Thrawn tells the witches to use your powers, do your thing. So they conjure up a whole bunch of green smoke. The green smoke goes all behind them, and it goes over top of all of the stormtroopers, which answers our question from last week, or that a lot of people were asking was, were all of these people already dead and the power was used on them already, which I would now say no, because he said, don't forget to do your thing.
Right.
And once they brought them back, they were definitely much more zombie-ish than they were the first time.
Yep. Yeah. Maybe the process messes with their stuff. I don't know. They didn't look
Which
good.
is where the Death Troopers book comes in, because when I read it over the summer, I was telling you about it. It's a fun read. It's a fast read. It's from Legends. It's by Joe Schreiber. It's a good book. It was not at all what I was expecting, but it wasn't a prison ship. It was a prison ship. There was a prison ship floating out in space, and it loses power, or it goes to try and help somebody. I forget what it was. Yeah, it goes to try and help somebody. Another ship which only had like 2 living people on it. They were like, "Oh, what's going on here?" So they go to try and help it, and there was a virus on the ship. And once this ship opened the doors, the virus spread to everybody very quickly.
Star Wars zombies.
Yes, and then suddenly everybody's a zombie. It kills everybody. This virus kills everybody. There was only like 4 or 5 people still alive on the ship, and they're all zombies in stormtrooper armor, prisoner zombies, all kinds of stuff like that.
Luckily, it's hard for a stormtrooper to bite with their helmet on.
It is very hard to do that. But when we saw the zombies in this, I was like, that is definitely from Death Trooper, the book Death Trooper. So it was fun. I liked it. Like I said, I'm not a big horror fan. This one, it was fun. It was just not what I was expecting, but I read the whole thing and it was good. So check it out. If you like horror and you want to mix horror with Star Wars, definitely check out Death Trooper. So they resurrect all the people with the green smoke, and now they're all zombies chasing after them. There's a couple of really good scenes with this as well. More good fight scenes. I did like the one where Sabine was being choked. She was lifted up and being choked, and
she used the Force finally.
She finally got to use the Force. Finally did it effectively.
She sucked at it though.
She did.
Ezra did it like 5 seconds later, so much better.
So much better.
Like he was showing off about it.
Yeah.
She was like took 20 seconds, and then immediately after he was like, boom, yeah,
boom,
gotcha.
Yep.
Been doing this for years, Sabine.
He got the saber, turned it on, killed the guy all faster than it took her to finally conjure up.
Yeah.
To get the saber to get in her hand.
Yeah.
But I did like she finally gets it. Zip,
Straight through
on,
the hip,
on and off,
yep.
right through his head.
There's that move we were talking about that people need to use more often.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yep.
That's exactly what it was. It was great. It was why doesn't and Dave Filoni saw that meme. Why doesn't anybody ever do this move? Because that's exactly what it was. It wasn't on. She turned it on, turned it off, and then boom, the guy was dead.
Sure was.
And Ezra was really good. Sabine was good, and it was funny. It was a little weird to me. Ahsoka was like calling out, like she was like the commander, like calling what plays to do. Like she's the coach. Like, okay, now, Sabine, guns. Oh, okay, now I'll use my guns.
I think that was their clumsy way of trying to be like, they said it earlier in the episode. Being a Jedi is not all about using a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And like Sabine is clutching to that. I got to use my lightsaber because I'm a Jedi.
I'm a Jedi.
She's like, no, you don't have to use what's available to you just because it's not a more elegant weapon or whatever. But so I think they were kind of going for that. But yeah, it was a little silly.
It was a little silly, but whatever. So she's like telling them what to do. They're all doing it, blah, blah, blah. They kill everybody for the second time through. And then they get to the top. And when they get to the top, then Morgan shows back up again. So Ahsoka's like, I have to go fight her again. And then while they're doing that, she's like, you two, get on the ship.
Slingshot.
So
pulled a classic Kanan Jarrus.
A Kanan Jarrus slingshot of just jump and I will push you, which is exactly what Kanan did in the cartoons as well with Ezra.
Yep.
So Ezra's like confusion to this suggestion is funny because it already happened before. Like he's done it before with Kanan.
But not with Sabine.
Yeah, I understand like his like question if Sabine can do it, but she just pulled the lightsaber into her hand, so she's full of confidence right now. She says, I can do it. Believe in me. She did pull the Ted Lasso, believe, and was like, I can do it. So it was pretty funny.
Well, he did.
He jumps, starts to fall, and then she gives him the push. And I liked the next camera shot was from up on the bridge.
Yep.
And
looking out like...
What's the guy's name? I'm confused about him, by the way. Enoch?
Enoch, yeah.
Is Enoch a droid?
I don't think so.
At first I thought he was a droid, but then I was like, oh, maybe just the speech thing in his helmet is broken because everybody is broken. And the TIE fighter pilots in the beginning, their helmets looked like they were put in a trash compactor. They were so cracked.
Really?
There were so many cracks on the front of them.
I have to look again.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what did these guys... Yeah, what did these guys go through over the past 10 years that their armor is so...
A lot of pressure on their heads.
Yeah, because we haven't seen anything that Ezra has talked about, anything so vicious that would destroy
Just
armor like that.
People.
Just the hermit crab people. So what on this planet is so bad that it's breaking up the armor the way it is? Well, like, what were they battling for 10 years?
We may never know.
It was... I think it's a plot hole there. I think they just wanted to do something fun. Anywho, so you don't think Enoch is a droid? You think he's a person?
I do.
Just a weird... He has a very weird
I'm listening
voice.
to the third Thrawn book, the new Thrawn trilogy book right now, and I'm almost wondering if it's like Eli Vanto or someone, like from that. Yeah, but I don't know. I haven't got to the end. So
okay. I don't know either. So he misses the ship, and then you're like, okay, Ezra's dead. And then they pan back to the other shot, and you see two hands just barely hanging on. And then he jumps up, and he kills everybody right away.
He did a pretty cool move there. He and it was like the complete opposite of like the Obi-Wan, like I have the high ground.
Yeah. Like, Dave Filoni's like, watch, you can win from the low ground too.
Yeah, it's like, that whole thing we based our main villain in the series off of? It's a bunch of baloney.
It's a bunch of baloney. The high ground means nothing because if you can just jump up to the high ground, then you have the high ground.
It's true.
So
There's always a higher ground.
There is always a higher ground. Then he kills a guy, and in typical Rebels fashion, as soon as he kills him, it's time to check in. droid, or not droid, Stormtrooper
Right.
Z143, and he's like, this is Z143 checking in. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
And so now it's like, okay, and then you see him dragging the armor, and you're like, okay, he's going to hide in the armor until they get back.
And then he's going to wear all the armor for his entire journey back to the Republic, including the helmet. Park. Leave the vehicle in the entire helmet while people point guns at you.
Yes.
And only when you've made it about 11 paces from your craft will you then slowly take the helmet off.
And
after petting your puppy.
And knowing that it's Stormtrooper armor, which is pretty useless as it is, where any one of these 11 people could freak out and shoot you and kill you right away.
He likes the drama.
Yeah, so that was very Ezra, that was very Rebels-esque of taking the troopers and putting the armor on and pretending to be them. But then you see Sabine, she says that she's going to jump also. And then cutscene, and we just assume that she jumped because we're all naive to reality. We're like, oh, she must be on there as well.
Nope.
They're going to leave Ahsoka behind all by herself. And then, nope, Sabine's there to help because Ahsoka's about to lose to Morgan. They're fighting, and then she says something, and she's like, you're not alone. And then here they come, and just as they do that, they're about to... she cuts Morgan in half, which was nice.
Yeah, it was like a nice little Darth Maul touch.
Yeah. And then... So what's going on with the blade? Can the Night Sisters just...
I mean, they summoned it out of nowhere, right?
Right.
So it's almost like the blade of Godric Gryffindor will then present itself to the next, like, worthy Night
Sister. Yeah. So then whenever they find someone else worthy of carrying it, they'll present it again to her.
Maybe.
So they'll do that.
Or else maybe that's what Ahsoka will replace her broken lightsaber with.
Maybe. That would be really cool.
She has a sword now.
She has a sword, a green glowing witch sword. That would be pretty cool. I don't think so.
Me neither.
So then they go, okay, watch this. We're leaving. And they just jump. And you're like, oh, my gosh, they're jumping to their death. And then, nope, they're jumping on top of the spaceship.
I was shocked. I was shocked when Huyang rose and pulled a full Back to the Future 2.
Yep, it was totally Back to the Future 2.
Yep.
What? I hate Minor.
That's right.
So then they get in, and then they see Thrawn's ship is now attached to the giant circle of power that looked enormous out in space. But as Luke texted me today after he watched it, how are they able to get that down into the atmosphere, and it looks so big out in space, and now it looks so small?
I don't know.
But
I'll have to go back and check the scale.
Yeah, it's all scale and perspective. So they bring that down. They dock together. I guess the Chimera is so damaged that it couldn't even get out of the atmosphere without any help. Yeah. So then it's flying out slowly, slow enough that Sabine and Ahsoka can catch up a little bit. Thrawn taunts them a little bit and tells her that he knew her master, saying that her connection to Anakin, and then he's like, yeah, peace out.
Yeah.
And then leaves her in the jet wash, and then once again the ship crashes back to Earth, or to whatever the name of the planet is. They miraculously crash right next to where the hermit crab people
hermit crabs live. Yeah.
So they're able to reunite with the hermit crab people, and then that's the end of it. But wait, there's more.
Kind of.
Because what was missing from the entire episode
were the two bad guys.
Balin and whatever
Shin.
her name is, Shin. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, and so they're separated.
Yep.
Shin goes to
Shin's
the Marauders.
Gonna go be a warlord or something.
Yeah. What is? Oh, who's Daniel Radcliffe has a new TV series. Have you ever seen it at all?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Every season is a different time and place. And this season, Daniel Radcliffe. This season is Miracle Workers, it's called.
Okay.
The TV show is called Miracle Workers. There's been, I guess, 4 seasons so far. But each season is a different time and place. Season 1 was like the Wild West. But it was like a comedy. So they were all like stupid and whatever. It was really funny. But this season has been like a post-apocalyptic thing. And his wife in it is a former warlord, and they like lose their clan or something like that in the first episode. So now they're just like traveling by themselves, but she's still like this hard warlord type person. But now they're in this one like town, which is kind of civilized. So she's trying to be civilized, but at the same time still wants to be a warlord. So as soon as you said she now becomes a warlord, it reminded me of that show. So It's a funny show. You should check it out.
I will.
Good. You should do it.
I will.
You would. So she stands at the top of the mountain, turns her lightsaber on, and basically is like, I'm in charge now.
Yeah, look at the laser sword.
I have a laser sword. I can cut you in half, or you will follow me.
I'm going to cut your stupid pointy horn hats.
Pointy hat off, yes.
Yeah.
And then Balin is sitting on the face,
hand of the father, or the face of the father.
The face of the father,
Yeah.
which looked very similar to him, I might add.
At first I didn't realize it was his father. I'm like, oh, you're sitting on your face. Look at that.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you were busy. You carved your own face out of a rock.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty impressive.
It's the Force, man.
But yeah, so it's
it's pretty clear that he's on the search for Mortis.
Yes, that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
So that was his whole thing, was to find that. So now, and then at the very end, Thrawn comes out of hyperspace, and you see it going towards a red planet, which is in fact Dathomir.
Right.
And it has all kinds of boxes in the storage, in the docking bay, whatever. And then we get to the other scene where one of their ships lands in the fleet, in the rebellion fleet, what you were talking about earlier, and out comes the stormtrooper that nobody shoots, and they go, and then Chopper's like, "Wait, I know that smell.
Yeah. You smell, yeah.
You smell like somebody I know."
Puppy.
Good puppy, and he did so. You could hear him say, "Wait, I know that. Is that Ezra?"
Yep.
That's what he was beeping away there. So, yeah. So then that's how it ends. Ezra is reunited with Hera. Ahsoka and Sabine are sitting with their hermit crab people now.
In a different galaxy.
Different galaxy. Shin and Balin are still on the same planet, but they're on different missions now. And Thrawn has his ship and all of his boxes of who knows what, all set to land on Dathomir and start his evil plot to take over the world.
I really hope within the next however many years this happens, like the Republic doesn't rise up, and the Imperial Remnant doesn't form into the First Order, and it would be really a bummer if that happened.
That's some crazy writing. You should come up with that. Yeah, you should elaborate on that.
Cut
a little
the
bit.
check. Let's do it.
Cut the check. Let's do it. And then we'll get all confusing there for a little while, and then we'll go back and try and retcon what we wanted to do in the very beginning of our writing. And
then we'll have another trilogy, but we will write the first one, but then we'll hire some random dude to write the second one, and we won't tell him any of our plans.
Right.
And then the same for the third one.
Yes, and we'll say, here's the people, write something.
Yeah.
You have the middle part. Write something about what would happen in the middle. And then somebody else would say, you finish it up.
I love it.
I love it. It's a great idea.
Workshop it.
So what did you think?
I liked it. It wasn't my favorite of the season. When it was done, I went, oh, already? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. To me, again, just feels too much like we're chasing that cool thing and not experiencing that cool thing.
Right. I agree the same way. I liked it. I wish that there was a little... It feels like when you're reading a 3-book set of something and you finish the first book and you go, that's how they're going to end it?
Yeah.
And now you're making me read the second book because nothing really concluded.
Yep.
The only thing that concluded was Thrawn got back to regular Star Wars town.
And that's the other thing that really pisses me off about this season is that it was a big build-up to essentially what became our villain coming into the world. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like a build-up and we got to know our villain. So I guess that'll be season 2. But again, it's just seems like they could spend... I think the 8 episode, they're so constrained by like having to make 8 episodes only. Like, there's only so much you can tell in that amount of time.
Right.
So,
yeah. So, I mean, maybe Disney contracted them to 8 episodes because, like, everything is different. The cartoons are like 20 episodes.
Yeah, 25 even.
25 episodes. The Mandalorian, I think, was 10 episodes each. And now, since then, they've been cutting it down to 8 episodes. Now, I don't know if it's a financial thing where Disney's like, okay, we can't give you $700 million. We can only give you $500 million. Right. And they say, okay, we can only do 8 episodes. But even still, I feel like I would have rather either seen 6 episodes that went a little bit faster or, give them more money and spread it out to 10 episodes. Because, during these 8 episodes, more people bought Disney Plus than had it because they wanted to watch this.
Especially now that they're going to be cracking down on passwords soon.
Right. So they're definitely checking it out now. So, I don't know. I did like it. Same thing that you said. Like, I felt like we needed some more closure. Now, they are talking about a second season.
Right.
And they are talking about a Dave Filoni is going to be writing a movie about this. But that movie is not supposed to come out till 2027. So that's 4 years from now. So you're telling me Sabine and Ahsoka and Baylan and Shin are all going to be stuck on this planet for 4 years, and then suddenly we're just going to pick back up to that?
It's possible.
Like, hopefully the second season comes sooner than 2 years from now.
Right.
But who knows? So I don't know. I liked it. I wanted a little bit more. The lightsaber battles were fun.
Yep.
The action, when there was action, the action was good. It wasn't stupid Vespa bike chase scenes. Yeah. Like, the action was real action. I don't know. I think everybody's biggest complaint is the 8-episode arc and the random times that they do everything. And I get it. Like, you have carte blanche to tell a story.
Yep.
But do it right,
Yeah, I just hope that they're listening to essentially the internet when these things come out, because like I feel like it's not a small percentage of people who are saying these things.
Right.
Like, these are the problems with the product they have. So, I mean, I'm just hoping they come back out next year and make some changes. Like, even if it's just simple stuff, like, I don't know, a couple more episodes every season.
Yeah.
Like would just be so much more room just to spread the story out instead of having to have Hu Yang tell us part of the story instead of showing it to us.
Instead of showing it to us, yeah. So. But I guess the flip side to that is, did you watch Ted Lasso at all? So Ted Lasso, great series, by the way. I highly recommend it.
So I've been told.
Yes, but they wanted to do 8 episodes or whatever they wanted to do. Say 8 episodes. Apple told them, we want you to do 10. So they said, fine, we'll give you 10. So right in the middle of the series, there was just 2 random episodes that, like, left you hanging. Like, what was that all about? And, like, there was one, it was really funny, though. It was like the one guy just went on like a bender, like a whole night bender in some some town in Europe somewhere. And it was just like his escapades the whole night long. Had nothing to do with soccer, had nothing to do with inspiration. It was just like they win the game and he's going out.
All right.
So they were like, we'll give you. So they had this one random episode. And then the other one, it was a great episode, but it was released in July and it was a whole Christmas episode. And it was awesome. It was a very fun Christmas episode. I really liked it, but it would have been perfect if it was in December, not in July.
Not July.
Like,
sure.
You're like, why are they giving us a Christmas episode in July?
Sometimes people need Christmas in July.
Sometimes they do. Yeah. So that would be my fear is if Disney then says, oh, we need you to do 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Then they give us the droids, R2-D2 and C-3PO for an episode. And it's like, yeah, we could have done without this episode.
Yep.
Because we even had it in Mandalorian. The Frog Lady episode was a complete waste. Like, that never transpired to anything. Nothing.
Yep.
And the spider one the next season. It was like
I forgot about the spiders. Yeah.
It was like a horror episode, but it wasn't really a horror episode, and it also went nowhere.
Yeah.
So all it gave us was Captain. What's the guy? Not Clark. He's in this. He was in this a couple of times. The one that was with Hera.
Oh. That's gonna annoy me. The one with Hera.
Yeah, he was the one that said, "We'll follow you wherever you want to go. You're our leader. You're gold leader."
Oh, freaking Carson.
Yeah, Captain Carson. Yeah. So that was the only good thing that came out of that was we got Captain Carson out of it.
Yeah.
So, all right, whatever. It was a good episode.
Yeah.
We might have hopefully a special guest soon.
Yeah, we've got stuff in the works.
We got stuff in the works.
We got our people talking to other people. And I mean, Rob's on Instagram hollering at some folks. So
I went to websites. They have these thing called websites. You know,
I heard those come after W's. I don't know how many though.
There's like 3 of them, 4 maybe.
I think that seems excessive.
It does.
I think it's only 1 or 2.
Yeah, dot.
Oh, a couple dots. Yeah, that's it. There's 4 or 5 dots. Either way,
that was from The Office when Daryl was sending the text messages to Val. Dot. Kelly was like, 4 dots?
Yep.
No.
Yep. Oh man,
So.
I gotta get back on watching The Office. I'm falling asleep.
You are falling asleep.
We are gonna be back soonish. We don't have any more new episodes, but we do need to do our season breakdown.
Yes.
Talk about what we think the future is gonna hold. Just talk more Star Wars. See about what's coming next in the Star Wars. I don't even know what our next series coming out is. Probably the next season of Andor or The Mandalorian.
Andor, the Mandalorian, and also Skeleton Crew finished filming.
Oh, all right, yeah.
But because of the strikes of everybody, the editing of it has been pushed back. So that's going to come later than it's supposed to. But they did finish filming in January of that.
Right. Well, we can look forward to that.
So we can look forward to that as well, yes.
All right.
And then maybe there's a whole bunch of movies are in the works.
Yeah, including a Dave Filoni movie.
Including a Dave Filoni joint. Yep.
We will see what happens.
We will see what happens.
In the meantime, from soon to be my bed.
That's right.
We have spoken.
We have spoken.